The first step in stopping the cycle of begging for attention when someone does not reply is realizing your own worth. Many people find themselves in the frustrating position of repeatedly reaching out to someone who seems uninterested or unresponsive. They may send messages, attempt calls, or even reach out in different ways hoping to get a response. However, all of this behavior stems from a lack of self-awareness regarding their own value. To break free from this pattern, it's essential to develop a strong understanding of your self-worth and the impact it has on your interactions with others. When we don't see our own value, we tend to settle for less than we deserve. We might justify the lack of attention from others because we feel it's the best we can get, or that we must work hard to keep their interest. In relationships, whether they are romantic, platonic, or professional, the way we view ourselves plays a significant role in the way others treat us. If you believe that your worth is tied to someone else's attention, you will likely find yourself in a cycle of seeking validation, repeatedly begging for recognition or affection. This behavior often ends up being exhausting, leaving you feeling drained, unappreciated, and even less confident about yourself. On the other hand, when you know your worth and believe in your own value, you stop tolerating mistreatment. You start setting boundaries, and when someone does not respond to your attempts to communicate, you no longer feel the need to chase them. Instead, you understand that their lack of response doesn't diminish your value. The most empowering thing you can do is to stop tying your sense of self-worth to how others behave towards you. When you do this, you unlock a sense of freedom. You are no longer dependent on the actions of others to dictate how you feel about yourself. Self-worth comes from within, and it's built on the foundation of knowing who you are and recognizing the unique qualities that make you valuable. When you take the time to develop your self-esteem, you are able to differentiate between what you deserve and what you are willing to accept. This self-assurance helps you stand firm when faced with the temptation to beg for someone's attention. Instead of continuously sending messages or trying to engage with someone who is not responding, you realize that your energy is too precious to waste on those who do not appreciate it. This understanding of self-worth also helps you recognize that you are not responsible for other people's behavior. If someone doesn't respond to your message or reach out to you, it's not a reflection of who you are or what you have to offer. People have their own lives, circumstances, and reasons for their actions, many of which have nothing to do with you. When you acknowledge this, you can detach from the outcome of any interaction. You no longer feel the urge to seek answers or validation. Instead, you accept the situation and move forward, understanding that there is no need to chase someone who is not showing interest. Empowerment through self-worth also helps you cultivate a mindset of abundance. When you truly believe in your value, you stop feeling desperate for attention or affection from any one individual. You begin to see that there are many people in the world who would appreciate and value your presence, and that one person's lack of interest is not a reflection of your worth. There is no scarcity of love, respect, or opportunity, and this realization allows you to approach relationships with a sense of abundance rather than desperation. When you stop begging for attention, you are free to open up to the possibility of healthier, more fulfilling connections with others who genuinely value and respect you. When you start respecting your own worth, it becomes easier to set healthy boundaries. If someone is not responding to your messages or showing interest, instead of repeatedly reaching out or begging for their attention, you send a message that reinforces your self-respect. You let them know that while you are open to communication, you won't chase after them. You may express understanding for their space, but make it clear that you won't continue putting yourself in a position of uncertainty. This simple act of asserting your worth in this way can be incredibly powerful, not only for the other person, but also for yourself. By practicing self-worth, you also develop resilience. You stop seeking validation from others because you know that your value comes from within. When you stop begging for attention, you open yourself up to better relationships and more fulfilling experiences. You will attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not just for the attention you give them. This shift in mindset is essential to building strong, respectful relationships where both parties give and receive in healthy, balanced ways. In conclusion, realizing your self-worth is the first step toward breaking free from the cycle of begging for someone's attention. When you understand your value, you no longer need to chase after people who are not responsive or appreciative. You stop measuring your worth by their actions and begin to set boundaries that reflect the respect you have for yourself. This shift in mindset leads to empowerment, healthier relationships, and a deeper sense of self-respect. Instead of begging, you send messages that reflect your self-assurance and confidence, which ultimately attract the right people into your life. You deserve relationships where you are valued, and recognizing your worth is the key to unlocking that reality. When you stop begging for someone's attention, it allows you to create a sense of space in your life, a space where you can focus on your own growth and well-being. Often, when we are caught up in the cycle of chasing someone who isn't giving us the attention we want, we can become blinded to the things that matter most: our own development, happiness, and self-care. This constant pursuit can distract us from focusing on ourselves, our dreams, and the opportunities that are available for us. By choosing to stop begging, you allow yourself the time and energy to reconnect with your passions and focus on your journey. At the core of this, there's the realization that your energy is one of the most valuable resources you possess. When you invest your energy into someone who isn't reciprocating, it can leave you feeling drained, unfulfilled, and even resentful. It's not just about the lack of attention from the other person, but the energy you give away that could be better utilized elsewhere. The constant cycle of messaging, checking for replies, and waiting for a response puts a strain on your emotional and mental resources. When you choose to stop begging, you free up that energy, which can then be directed toward things that contribute to your growth, whether it's your career, personal development, or simply taking care of your health and well-being. Once you stop begging for attention, you begin to recognize that your life doesn't revolve around waiting for someone to validate you. You create space for new experiences and relationships. You are no longer putting all your hopes into a single person's response or behavior. The moment you stop focusing on someone who isn't giving you the attention you desire, you open yourself up to the possibility of meeting new people who are more aligned with your values and needs. These new relationships, whether they are romantic or platonic, will not only respect your boundaries, but they will also bring value to your life in ways that make you feel appreciated and understood. In this space, you learn that you deserve relationships where your efforts are reciprocated, and you no longer waste time on situations where you are undervalued. This shift also allows you to discover your own strength. When you stop begging for someone's attention, you are practicing self-discipline and patience. You begin to realize that you can thrive on your own without depending on someone else to give you a sense of worth. In fact, you gain the strength to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you. Your well-being becomes your own responsibility, and you no longer seek validation from external sources to feel good about yourself. This newfound independence is liberating as you start to see that your life can be fulfilling without needing someone else to complete. Moreover, this space allows you to invest more deeply in your own aspirations and dreams. You become more attuned to your passions and goals, recognizing that you have the time and resources to chase after the things that matter to you most. Without the distraction of waiting for someone's message or affection, you can channel your focus into personal growth, learning new skills, developing new hobbies, or even working towards your career goals. The energy that was once spent on someone who didn't acknowledge you is now directed inward, helping you achieve your highest potential. When you give yourself this space, you also begin to heal. If you have been in a situation where you were consistently begging for attention, you may have been emotionally wounded by the experience of being ignored or undervalued. Taking a step back and focusing on your own well-being gives you the chance to recover from these emotional wounds. It's about giving yourself permission to heal, to let go of the pain caused by someone's lack of attention. This healing process can be powerful as you rebuild your emotional resilience and regain your sense of self. You begin to realize that you are worthy of love and respect, and that this doesn't need to be proven by someone else's actions. The healing process is not just about moving on from a specific person, but about healing your own heart and mind so that you are in a stronger place for the next chapter of your life. The space you create by stopping the cycle of begging also gives you time for introspection. You have the opportunity to reflect on what you truly want in a relationship and what kind of partner you deserve. When you are not chasing someone's attention, you can objectively assess what qualities you need in a partner to feel fulfilled and supported. This time allows you to gain clarity on the type of relationship you want. Whether it is one that is nurturing, respectful, and mutually loving, it helps you to gain perspective on past relationships and understand where you may have compromised your needs for the sake of keeping someone interested. By taking a break from the cycle of begging for attention, you can reset your standards and ensure that any future relationship aligns with your values and desires. In essence, when you stop begging for attention, you create space for yourself to grow, heal, and reflect. This space is not only about freeing up emotional energy, but also about taking control of your life. You stop depending on someone else to give you a sense of worth and begin focusing on your own growth and well-being. This allows you to heal emotionally, invest in your personal goals, and ultimately attract relationships that are more aligned with your needs. By focusing on yourself, you gain a deeper understanding of your desires, values, and boundaries, which leads to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. This space isn't just a void left by someone's absence. It is an opportunity to discover and invest in the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. When you stop begging for someone's attention, you also stop sending a message that you are desperate for validation. Many times when we are caught up in the cycle of seeking attention or approval from someone, we unknowingly communicate that we are not whole without them. Begging for attention, whether through constant text, calls, or attempts to engage someone who isn't interested, often signals to the other person that you are reliant on them for your happiness or self-worth. In reality, this can be damaging not only to the other person's perception of you, but also to your own sense of self. When you stop begging, you begin to send a much healthier message to the world and, more importantly, to yourself. The act of begging for attention or validation is often rooted in insecurity. You may feel that you are not enough as you are, and that someone's attention or affection is the key to your happiness. But the truth is, no one else can define your worth except for you. When you stop begging, you start to recognize that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's actions. Instead, your happiness is something that comes from within. Without that, then, life for you would be so calm. You no longer seek external validation, but instead begin the journey of building a deep sense of self-worth and confidence. You learn that you are enough just as you are, without needing anyone to constantly reaffirm that. This shift in mindset is incredibly empowering and freeing. By stepping away from the cycle of begging, you also give yourself the opportunity to break free from patterns of behavior that have kept you stuck in unhealthy dynamics. We often find ourselves in relationships or situations where we are continually chasing after someone who isn't reciprocating our feelings. This pattern can be exhausting and emotionally draining, but when you decide to stop begging, you give yourself permission to let go of these unhealthy attachments. Instead of continuing to pour energy into something that isn't giving back, you start looking inward to see what you need to heal or change within yourself. This self-reflection allows you to move forward in a healthier direction, whether that means focusing on your personal growth, working through past emotional wounds, or simply learning to enjoy your own company. Another aspect of stopping the begging behavior is the empowerment that comes with reclaiming your independence. When you stop relying on someone else for emotional fulfillment, you begin to rediscover your independence. You no longer depend on external factors such as someone's attention, affection, or approval to feel validated. This newfound independence allows you to take control of your own happiness and take responsibility for your well-being. You are no longer waiting for someone else to make you feel loved or wanted. Instead, you take proactive steps to nurture your own emotional health. This shift helps you recognize your own strength and resilience, empowering you to live your life on your own terms without seeking permission or approval from others. Furthermore, when you stop begging for attention, you stop allowing others to take you for granted. Begging can often be a sign of desperation, and desperation can lead to an imbalance in relationships. When you constantly chase after someone or seek their attention, it can unintentionally diminish your value in their eyes. People tend to value what is harder to obtain. By stopping the begging, you shift the dynamic. You show that you are valuable, worthy of respect, and deserving of attention without having to plead for it. This change in behavior can make others recognize your worth more clearly. When they realize that you are no longer available to chase them or constantly seek their approval, they may start to appreciate you more. This shift can lead to more balanced and respectful relationships, where both parties contribute equally. Another important benefit of stopping the begging behavior is that it creates space for healthier relationships to form. When you are constantly chasing someone who isn't showing you the same level of interest, you are blocking the opportunity for new connections. By stepping back, you open up the possibility of meeting someone who genuinely values you and is willing to invest in a mutual, healthy relationship. You stop settling for situations where your needs are not being met, and instead you create the conditions for something better to come into your life. This doesn't mean that you will never face challenges in relationships, but it does mean that you will be in a position to enter relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, trust, and understanding. Additionally, stopping the begging behavior allows you to start enjoying the present moment and your own life. Too often, when we are fixated on someone who is not reciprocating our feelings, we neglect to appreciate the good things in our lives. We become so focused on what is missing that we forget to appreciate what is already here. By stopping the begging, you release yourself from this unhealthy cycle. You learn to enjoy your life on your own terms, to celebrate the achievements you have made, and to savor the relationships that bring you genuine happiness. You begin to appreciate your own company and discover the joy that comes from self-love and self-acceptance. This process of letting go and stopping the begging is not always easy. It requires patience, self-discipline, and a commitment to your own emotional well-being. But as you continue on this journey, you will begin to see the profound impact it has on your life. You will feel lighter, freer, and more at peace with yourself. By no longer begging for someone's attention, you create space for healing, growth, and the ability to embrace the love and respect you truly deserve. Ultimately, this decision is about reclaiming your power, redefining your self-worth, and creating a life where you are no longer dependent on the actions of others to feel complete. This is your time to thrive on your own terms, to stop begging for what you deserve, and to start attracting the relationships and experiences that align with your highest potential. When you stop begging, you start embracing your own power. One of the most profound shifts that occur when you stop seeking constant validation or attention from someone else is the realization of your intrinsic worth. Begging or desperately seeking someone's affection often stems from feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. It's easy to think that your value is tied to someone else's recognition or approval. But the moment you stop begging, you reclaim the truth that your worth is inherent, independent of anyone else's treatment of you. When we are emotionally invested in another person, it's natural to want them to reciprocate our feelings. However, in situations where the other person is not as emotionally available or is indifferent to our desires, constantly begging for their attention can make us lose sight of the reality that we deserve to be with someone who values us equally. We can begin to overextend ourselves, seeking their affection in ways that feel unbalanced. But when you stop begging, you take the first step in recognizing that your emotional well-being should not be tethered to someone else's actions. You deserve to feel appreciated, loved, and respected without having to chase after it. This realization is empowering. It signals that you are strong enough to navigate relationships based on mutual respect rather than desperation. By not begging, you stop putting yourself in the position of needing someone else to complete you. You recognize that you are whole as you are. There is immense strength in stepping back and allowing yourself to breathe, reflect, and heal. Rather than searching outside for validation, you begin to find it within yourself. Your worth is no longer longer determined by how others treat you, and this mindset shift is liberating. You free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of chasing someone who may not have the capacity to reciprocate your feelings. Another powerful aspect of this journey is the shift it allows you to make from a place of desperation to one of empowerment. When you stop begging, you start making choices that reflect your true self and values. No longer are you allowing another person's behavior to dictate your emotions. Instead, you are in control of your own narrative. You don't wait around for someone to validate you or to decide that you are worthy of their time and attention. Instead, you make choices based on what is right for you and what aligns with your goals and vision for your life. This shift from seeking external validation to finding inner strength and direction allows you to become a more confident, assertive, and self-assured person. In doing so, you also protect yourself emotionally. Begging, in essence, exposes your vulnerabilities, and if the person on the receiving end is not emotionally available, it can lead to emotional harm. The longer you continue in this dynamic, the more your emotional health is at risk. By stopping the begging, you are choosing to protect your emotional integrity. It's an act of self-care that says, I am worth more than begging. I deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. You set a boundary that says you will no longer tolerate being undervalued or ignored. Setting boundaries is one of the most important acts of self-love because it preserves your emotional energy and well-being. When you stop begging, you also start attracting healthier energy into your life. Relationships, whether romantic or platonic, are reflections of how we feel about ourselves. If you constantly seek validation, love, or attention from others, you will attract people who reinforce that pattern. People who are emotionally unavailable or who take advantage of your neediness will only lead to more frustration and disappointment. But when you shift your mindset and stop begging for attention, you begin to attract relationships based on mutual respect and healthy connection. You no longer settle for less than what you deserve. This change not only impacts your romantic relationships, but can also improve your friendships, work relationships, and interactions with the world at large. By letting go of begging, you create space for people who will value you for who you truly are. You begin to surround yourself with individuals who uplift, encourage, and support you. These are people who see your worth without needing you to constantly prove it. They recognize that you are a valuable and worthy person, and they treat you as such. This shift brings a sense of peace, as you no longer feel the weight of constantly seeking approval or attention. Instead, you allow the right people to come into your life naturally, and those who appreciate your presence will stay, while those who do not will naturally fade away. Moreover, stopping the begging behavior fosters an inner peace that you may have been missing for a long time. The more you chase after someone who isn't reciprocating your feelings, the more you put your own life on pause. You may spend hours or days wondering why they aren't reaching out, obsessing over what went wrong or what could have been. But when you stop begging, you stop that cycle of anxious thoughts. You reclaim your mental peace and emotional stability. You stop being consumed by the idea that you need someone else's attention to be happy. Instead, you begin to focus on your own goals, growth, and well-being. You regain your inner balance and feel a sense of calm that allows you to think clearly, make better decisions, and move forward in a positive direction. Finally, one of the most important aspects of stopping the begging behavior is the opportunity to grow and evolve. When you are no longer caught in a pattern of seeking validation from others, you have the space to reflect on your own behavior and patterns. You can examine why you felt the need to beg or chase after someone in the first place. This introspection is invaluable because it allows you to understand yourself better, to heal any emotional wounds, and to become a stronger, more independent person. By stopping the begging, you open the door for personal growth and transformation. You no longer feel trapped by past behaviors and negative thought patterns. Instead, you move forward with clarity and a sense of purpose, confident in the knowledge that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness just as you are. Stopping the begging behavior isn't just about walking away from a specific person. It's about walking toward a better version of yourself. One who knows their worth, values their emotional health, and understands that the right relationships will come when you stop chasing after those who are not meant for you.